Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to August 6th, 2024. Today is actually a Tuesday, and this is another edition of the MSP Initiative at MSP Talk. We're going to get some housekeeping out of the way like we do at the beginning of all of these sessions, and then we'll get on with all of the good stuff. MSPinitiative.com. Here's where this recorded session and every other recorded session will be listed, as well as our YouTube page, podcast page, and all that good stuff. You can scroll backwards, download, subscribe, forward, all that good stuff. Yeah, please do that. We do these for you. So follow us there. Then we have MSP Community Minds. We did one of these in Nashville earlier this year. So on September 25th and 26th, we are coming to Denver, which was the original place of MSP Community Minds, where we launched it. Different venue, same town. So again, September 25th, 26th, we have the agendas posted, the schedule for the 2-day event, our panelists, which are MSPs like you from the trenches, and our expert speakers who are doing 2-hour workshops with no credit card swipe at the end. You will actually learn something, and it is meant for you to actually, get a non-pitched learning session on many topics. So this event is absolutely free, other than you have to get there. Please come and register. MSP Community Minds, Denver, again, September 25th, 26th. Then we have the remainder of our 5, not 4, not 3, not 2, but 5. My LeBron, now forget that. Block parties left for the rest of the year. We have IT Nation Australia coming up literally in I don't know, a week and a half. So if you're headed down under, we will be there on August 21st, right after the welcome reception. Walk literally down the street, and you will meet us at Cargo Bar in Darling Harbor, and we will be doing our first MSP Community Block Party in Sydney. There is a second one coming up, but stay tuned. Then we're going to Germany. If you're going to Pax8 Beyond Berlin, connect with us on October 14th. It'll be right on the second night of Pax8 Beyond Berlin, where we will be going to a brewery. Berlin brewery right after Oktoberfest. Sounds about right. Then we go to Miami to DattoCon. And on the 29th of October at the Fontainebleau inside of the venue, we have a space for a MSP Community Block Party. So you will see us there. And then second to last, IT Nation Orlando, where we are in the middle of negotiating our special band. 2 years ago, American Rejects. Last year, Better Than Ezra, Sugar Ray, Tonic. This year, TBD, but we're coming to you. So it'll be the first night of IT Nation Orlando, and right after the welcome reception down the street, like we did last year and the year before. You can see we got a bunch of people already involved here. Definitely check that out and stay tuned for our entertainment announcement. And then lastly, we go back, number 2, to Sydney for DattoCon Sydney. And again, on November 12th, you got to walk right down the street, and we will block party you until you can no longer be block partied. Of course, you'll see our industry calendar and our deals on the website. If you can take advantage of either of those, do that. And let's not forget, in literally 30 days from now, the NFL season begins, and the Eagles and the Packers will be opening up the league schedule in Brazil. How about them apples? Should I call up the Fast and the Furious team, meet you down there? I don't know.
There you go. There you go.
There's all the good stuff. We welcome no stranger to the show. It's been a minute, but we talk to Ken always behind the curtain. Our good friend Ken Patterson back on the show. Kenny P, we just feels like yesterday. The bus was rolling. We were rolling around America. Actually, people, it's funny. We still talk to people who bring up that bus. And before the bus, they talked about boats. Before the boats, they talked about rooftops. But the bus was not that long ago.
Yeah, we still. I've been at a few events in the last couple of months. I'm lucky I remember my name right now. But yeah, we were just at ChannelCon, which, it's funny. you think about the events, and you think of ChannelCon, and you say, oh, there's so many vendors, right? And you have Bob Coppage on this side that says, hey, but I love the idea that I get to see vendors that I never see anywhere else, right, at this big event. And then you have other people who are like, I'm vendored out. I'm scared. I walk in there and there's all these vendors. I gotta say, they did a better job this year with the separation of the vendors. It wasn't as compact and squeezed in like it was in Vegas. It was open, was very bright, um, and they had a better floor plan for that specific part of it. But in general, I feel like there was a lot of collaboration going on, a lot more conversations going on, and from that perspective, um, I liked it a lot better this year than I did last year. From a collaboration standpoint, it seemed like just more people open, especially vendor to vendor. You know how that goes.
Well, there's like 3 vendors to every one MSP at ChannelCon, so like it's
Right.
all
There's a lot of vendors there. Right. Listen, there's no doubt about it. There's a whole bunch of vendors, but I will also say,
it's like going to Philadelphia for an Eagles game, home game. There's going to be more Eagles fans than the opposing team. That's just how it goes. So at
you always got to work
ChannelCon,
that thing in there.
well, yeah, I mean, I can't help it. It's my perfect analogy. I mean, you're going to go to ChannelCon, there's going to be like 300 vendors and 100 MSPs. That's how it's going to be.
It was, and separate from that piece too, also the content was better. I felt like the content was really, really good. And again, there wasn't a whole lot of pitchiness, if any. I sat in on a lot of the panels, and the panels were very well thought out. The questions and the answers were done very well. And I think that's where you know this. We've been doing this for how long now? Panels are the way to go.
Yeah,
Get panels of the people in the audience.
but people actually need to show up. This
Yeah,
is the problem.
I know. But the bus conversation did come up at ChannelCon. One person who didn't know that's what we were doing was like, wait, oh, that was a thing for COVID? I just thought that was a, traveling circus type thing. And I'm like, well, it's a little column A, a little column B, but it was really mostly because of COVID. We had nowhere to go. Nobody was, no one was going out and doing anything. And George and I, being the people that we are, A, we love community, and B, we were getting bored.
It's true. We were very bored. Like
Right.
everybody was in their basement. And
Yeah.
yeah, we needed to do something different. And the open road was that different. And by the way, every time I pass like a Prevost on the highway, now that I know what those are,
Yeah.
he's like, oh yeah, that's cool. I wonder how much that one goes for. So yeah, that was what a time, man. America by road. If you ever get, I know a lot of people do the whole RV, camper thing, but it really is a crazy big country that, I always tell my Jeopardy stat, right? It's like, well, how much of the nation's current population are between, like Boston, Pittsburgh, and Washington, D.C.? And like everybody guesses, and it's like, okay, 41% is the answer. Well, that leaves 60. Yeah, that's almost half the country in like just this little triangle.
Right.
And a whole big rest of the country with with those people, the rest of the people spread out. So
We covered all that. We covered that land. I mean,
yeah,
there's not much that we didn't cover. That first trip, was it 9,000?
that was a yeah.
Nine thousand miles or something crazy, and
That
we
was
do it over
before
3 weeks.
I drove you back to Boston and got pulled over.
Yes, that was before you had to drive me back. That was the original trip where we couldn't go home.
Mm-hmm.
We couldn't do anything for 3 weeks. Well, some people did. You and I did not.
Yes, our states were a little bit sketch on the once you leave and come back rules. But hey, it's all good. We figured it out. We made it. It's in the
We
book.
did.
And time has passed, but Kenny P's still the same. George might be a little bit slimmer, but I'm still the same. But
George is a lot slimmer.
you you are at a different company, Kat.
I am.
Let's hear all about that.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit more surprising for me, right? I think we all know that I'm no gypsy, and I'm not gonna pop around from place to place. I wanted to find a home. But I really felt like and just, in pure transparency, which, that's who Kenny P is. Total was the first company to come talk to me when I left PAX 8. Like, they literally were right on top of that conversation through some MSPs that were like, oh, we need you over here type of conversation. And they just weren't ready. Admittedly, they're smart group of people, and they knew they weren't ready, but man, they wanted to, make it be known that they'd love to have me. And at the time, Taylor Business Group was the right fit. Through you, of course, we had conversations and we chatted, and I saw a need there for MSPs that were thirsty for community. Right? We have a lot of mutual friends that are members of TBG and wanted that and asked for that. And Taylor stepped up and said, "Hey, we're gonna do this. We're gonna make this happen." So it worked out well. I got to help a lot of MSPs. I got to do a lot of events with them and get things rolling in the right direction. But then as things started coming down the road this year, Total got more ready. And, um, there were some things, some powers that be that were shifting as far as what Taylor Business Group was going to do and the direction they were going to go in. And the direction that Total was going in was complete and utter community. And I couldn't ignore the fact that they basically started with, "Hey, we just got funded and we want to make a major investment in community. And we know that first step is you." So that's step number one, right? You got to have the money and you got to have the bandwidth to be able to handle what that entails going into the community. It's not just hiring some person that you think is a face and that's it. People come. It's about building that and having the roadmap that says we're going to go to these events. This is our strategic way of doing it. This is how we're going to measure it and all of those things. And they understood that. Some of the keys, though, George, was talking to the people at Total and talking to the MSPs, right? I know a few MSPs and, putting it out there. Yeah. Putting it out there and talking to MSPs, it was all the same thing. The tools that Total has are amazing. The tech is amazing. Well, crap, that's the hardest part, right? The tech's amazing. What's the problem? Some communication, some community type stuff, the bigger things, those are all things that I can change and help with, right? Help grow there. So for me, it's like, okay, the tech is good. They need help with community. How about leadership? Where's leadership's heads at? And I got to be honest, man, talking to the CEO of Total was a breath of fresh air. It was completely different. Initially, obviously, like most CEOs, right? They don't want anybody talking about their baby, right? Someone comes in and tells George VoIP's got this problem, that problem. In the beginning, you were probably like, "Yeah, no way, no way. My product is great," right? That's how CEOs act because it's their baby. They put their blood, sweat, and tears into it. And I think much like you, the CEO at Total has evolved and understands that he needs that feedback and he needs to understand what's hitting and what's not hitting. And it was just the passion that he had when he talked to me about community really got to me, sunk in quick. Much like John Street, when I talked to John back in the day with PAX 8, like, wow, this person really gets it and understands what he wants to change and how he wants to change, and he's willing to change. That's the biggest thing, right? And so now the cry for Total now is community, and we're going to push to make community better, and it's going to take all the MSPs and everybody out there and our team to work together and do that. But for me, this is like the next big thing as far as what Total is doing now and their focus on the actual community. Sure, we have the tech's cool, but like it's about those solutions working and how they work with the community to make them better.
Yeah, no, 100%. I mean, listen, it's an often used word. It's almost like overused in a lot of cases, but I'm glad you found the place that, sees the world the way that, you've been living it, which is great. Like community is great, but again, it's a big word that's used in a lot of different ways. And I think that more of it would be good, right? But at the end of the day, I just think it comes down to feels like the bigger companies with the bigger bank accounts are the people who usually go down this lane, right? Because it's not, a lot, especially in our space, right? And a technology land, software land, right? Like you spend money, hope to make money back, right? Community is not necessarily the same conversation. So, it's interesting that these guys are wired that way, right?
Right, right. Well, I mean, look, you've done it. You're not huge, but you found a way to tap into community by saying, "I lived it, I breathed it, I understand the pains you're going through." And when someone tells you something's wrong, you fix it. Like it's not that
Oh.
difficult from that perspective, right? It's just it blows my mind that people find that so difficult. And by the way, the bigger companies aren't exactly buying into community. All they're doing, a lot of them are naming people community. Oh, hey, John so and so, you're a pretty good salesman. Now we're going to call you community. And it's like, wait, that's not how it works. Community is not about your customers. Their customers are customers. Your community are people who actually believe in what you do and are stark raving fans of what you do, right? And Bowles says it, Eric Bowles says it best. Community is not about belonging to something. Community is about belonging to something that makes belonging matter. And that's the difference. And just having customers doesn't do that, because there's a lot of companies that have way more customers than any of us in the IT field, but they also hate that company. They're stuck, they're tied to them, right? And so that's the difference. If you really want to make a difference and make a community, you got to go to where the community is and find out what they need, what makes them happy, and work with them and show them that the stuff they're saying to you matters and that you're making changes based on those. I've witnessed you do it. I go to your pack meetings. I've seen it. I've seen people come to you with a problem, and at first you're like, oh, that's weird. And then next thing you know, we're at another pack meeting and they're like, hey, this thing was fixed. That's how it should work. It's that it really is basic. Go to where your community lives, learn, work with them, and make the changes that they want.
I wonder why Microsoft doesn't do
that. Hey, remember Microsoft, we got to give them credit. They did have the bus back in the day.
Yeah, they did. Way back in the day.
Way back.
I wonder if CrowdStrike listens to the community.
Oh. Well,
I don't know if this $10 lunch Uber Eats gift cards went over so well.
Well, first of all, it had to work, and it did, right? So it didn't work. It had problems. It has problems across the. You're right. That's not a hey, we know our people type of thing, because it affected everybody, right? So who are you sending that to? It affected, and I still say this. The worst people in the middle of all this is the MSPs that did all that work for free, went out, fixed all these problems because they recommended CrowdStrike, right? And right, wrong, or indifferent, I'm not bashing anybody, because I do believe that, especially a company of that size, something like this can happen even with the best processes, although I do believe there's some processes there that probably could have helped. I still believe it could happen when you're that large. Things like that can happen, but you gotta have a way of fixing it quicker, I guess. It seems like it took a lot longer to fix, and now they're blaming Delta because they said they told Delta they'd help, and Delta didn't take the help, and Delta's suing them, and none of it's good, because now one lawsuit, that leads to many more lawsuits. But who in the middle of all this, right? The people that were at the hospitals and were ready to go and to get operated on and couldn't, got affected, right? Okay, the people flying had to deal with 30-hour ordeals, but is that worse than being in a hospital ready to be operated on and have to flip the switch? I don't know. Depends on your situation. But out of all of it, I feel like the MSPs got hit the hardest. The people in the trenches got hit the hardest, because they had to go out.
You said they got hit. It's not over yet. They're still in the
right.
middle.
No, they're still doing it. Right. Exactly. Georgia, I went to my doctor.
Yeah.
I went to my doctor at the end of the week when it was supposedly, everybody was back and fixed except for Delta. And walked into my doctor's office. Everything looked good, but I had to go to the lab. I walk over to the lab. There's 20 people in the lab. There's never 20 people in the lab. I look over. There's a girl behind the computer. I walk over, and typical IT guy. I'm like, is there anything I can help with? She's like, no, we know what it is. It was that whole thing, but what the text came in and only did the doctor's office, not the lab. So it was still affecting, you're right, those one-offs, the places where maybe someone didn't think would have the same problem. So I got delayed a little bit for my blood work. It wasn't the end of the world. But no. I still say, like you said, the MSPs, they're in the position, because you're right, they're still dealing with it.
Oh yeah, it's and they will. There's the business side of this that still hasn't shaken out, right? It might take some time, but somebody's gonna come and ask that question. It's coming.
Right.
It's coming. And like, we've seen stories like this happen before, right? Not specifically this company, but other companies in the sandbox. And listen, it's not a pretty conversation. It's not a fun conversation. Quite frankly, it's a very unhappy conversation, but it's gonna happen. And when it does, there's gonna be a conversation about commas, zeros, and dollars, or whatever can see that you.
I'd like to think that we could learn something from it, right?
Yeah.
Can you learn something? First off, let's start at the top. PR, the whole mess. That CEO should have never got on TV the next day and not been prepared. He was sweating bullets. He looked horrible, and his message was not great. It's like, yikes. And by the
He
way,
did say we did it. He didn't point the finger, right? I mean,
no, but he's also the same. He also had a previous job where something like this happened. Just so you know, look it up.
oh, shall I
Yes,
do that right now?
there was a previous job. Anyways,
Let's look this
I
up.
don't know the handling of this was great from that perspective. And this comes into planning, George, right? When you're talking about, hey, if something goes wrong publicly, what's our plan?
Yeah.
It didn't seem like they had that plan in place.
Uh-huh.
Now look
Yeah,
at George
the DR.
navigating.
I see. Okay, well, why are you hiding it? Why don't we just share with everybody? Why do you make me
I'm
Google?
not hiding it. I was just saying that there was something previously that wasn't handled great, like from that perspective. And it's just like if you got to learn something from these things, it's not like, oh my God, uh, everybody has to kick people when they're down, but learning from it. This happens. If this happens, what would we do? How would we react? What's our message? And I've seen good PR people in place of that do these things, and now I didn't know why at the time they were so damn rigid, but now I do.
Yeah.
You got to have a plan.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, listen, he's been at CrowdStrike for a long time. He was at McAfee before.
McAfee was where the other mess happened.
And then he was at Price Waterhouse, back in the day, in the 90s. So okay. All right. 59 years old and front and center on the television worldwide. Nice haircut.
Yeah. It's a tough situation to be in, no matter what. And we don't want, like I said, I would like to see what are the lessons learned? Are we all now starting to look within at processes and making sure that we have backups of the backups when it comes to process? Who would ever thought that an issue with process would lead to the biggest shutdown over a hack, over an incident, a security incident?
I'll tell you this. It's totally irony that the security software that's supposed to prevent the big incident was the big incident. Like you can't help but find something there. I mean, the other part was, and again, I can't help but saying it because I've been saying it over and over again, but it's so true. It's like all of the budget places that were like, nah, we don't want to pay for the higher expensive security. They were the people that were like, business as usual.
Yeah, that's because there's some of them. That's Southwest is bragging about still being on their Commodore 64s,
Windows 3.1, but I digress. Might as well. I mean, like, come on. You gotta admit, like, the budget airlines, did you hear Spirit apparently is gonna, abandon budget and now they want to go for higher end clientele? Did you hear this?
Really?
And did you hear Southwest is ditching the as one of our mutual friend says, the cow boarding process?
Yeah. I did hear about Southwest finally doing that. They're all a mess. And Spirit, how is Spirit going to go after higher clientele? They'd have to completely redo their planes. The plane that I was on, I was sitting like in an aluminum church chair, it felt like, and it had a bungee cord holding shit in the back. I'm like, how? George, I felt like if I looked out the window, I'd see guys with a big elastic pulling the plane back to launch it, and let it go.
Man.
It just, how do you, separate from all the crap that they do on the outside, the planes themselves look low budget.
But did they get there?
I was scared shitless. Just gonna say it.
So
can bleep that part out.
I have a colleague of mine down in Australia that said there are 2 airlines in Australia that have gone under, closed their doors this year already. Of course, the budget ones. I was like, oh, interesting. When was the last time you saw an airline go? Imagine you show up for your flight and they're like, oh, sorry, we're out of business. Have a nice day.
Where did TWA go? Did someone take that, or did TWA just go away?
No, somebody did take that. I mean, TWA, when's the last time you saw that name? It was like the 90s, early 90s.
If I'm watching movies.
Home Alone?
Yeah. That's the only time I'm seeing that one.
Home Alone. Which is still doing great, by the way. I mean, it's the residuals, I'm sure.
Of course.
So yeah, I mean, listen, community, $10 Uber gift cards probably doesn't help the community aspect. I guess they
No.
try. You know what? It almost reminds me, Ken, of when I got $1.68 Dairy Queen gift cards. It was supposed to be good enough for an ice cream cone.
Right. From where?
Yeah, Dairy Queen.
Oh, so it was from Dairy Queen. Okay.
Yeah, it was like I got like 3,000 of those.
Yeah, obviously some programs are better than others when they're trying to say thank you. I think Uber Eats does the same thing. It's like after you've spent $2,000 with them, they send you a little 10% off or something. Or get your first drink free. And they always do here's the best, George, knowing your audience. Uber Eats almost always offers me a buy one get one free deal at a place that I've never gone to, right? Obviously they're trying to entice me to go to these places, but if you see my history and you know my history, why not pick the places that I'm always doing and give me a little love back? Because there's a lot of money spent there. Like, it's like, hey Ken, 20% off of Costco shawarma.
Costco shawarma. To be honest with you, Ken, I don't know if I'm eating that. Just
There you go. That's what I'm saying. See what I'm saying?
like
Even though according to Ryan Reynolds, the Avengers put shawarma on the map.
Oh, is that how it worked out? I'm pretty sure shawarma, for anyone that's from Middle Eastern background, has been around for a long,
Oh no,
long
but he's just you
time.
know what he's talking about from the scene when they all go get shawarma at the end.
I know
Come on,
that. Yeah, the after scene. Yeah, no,
yeah.
listen, it's been
Have you
around.
seen it? Have you seen Deadpool and Wolverine yet?
Oh yeah, I saw it. I got my Deadpool and Wolverine cup.
Oh, you got the cup.
Oh yes, 100% yes.
So yeah, we can't spoil it, but if you haven't seen it, go see it. Absolutely worth seeing. So many digs. I think I might have to watch it again just to catch up on all the things that are on there.
Well, I'll tell you what. If you are a fan of the X-Men movies
Right.
and like um, all of the Fox properties, you will be very happy with this movie because they really did a great job. I know you're a big Disney guy,
Yeah.
but Disney bought Fox 20th
Right.
Century, which is how they got access to all of the rights to all of the.
Oh, dude, referenced about 50 times in the movie. So good.
Oh, they took every shot that could be taken, no question. And you know what? Good on them. Like,
Oh yeah.
it was funny, it was very good. So like bottom line is, I was very happy with it. I did not get the popcorn bucket.
No.
I did get the cup with the little, guy on top. And I probably need to go back and see it a second time to
You
like
gotta
catch
catch up on all the references. There's just the
there's
first
so many,
Deadpool, the first Deadpool, I
so
must have
many.
watched. I must have watched the first Deadpool 3 times at home just to catch every reference and all
Yeah,
because he delivers comedy so fast and dry. It's like, all these little things where you're like, oh my God, that's hilarious. Yeah.
100%.
So
No,
gonna
but I
have
mean,
to
listen,
do it again.
can they like? I'm sure at some point they've done it with Batman, they've done it with Superman, they've done it with all these characters. But this guy's been playing Wolverine for 20 something years.
He's
Can
the
they
only, he's the
can they
only
can they
Wolverine.
really put another character in there?
Like you said, they own you for the next 90 years.
I mean, this guy has crushed that role.
Yep. And by the way, look at him. He's a freaking beast. It's crazy.
Well, there is a character called Beast, so let's be careful.
Yeah, I know. I know. Don't want to confuse you, but
Yeah,
yeah. No, he's just in absolute great shape. So he's perfect for the role. Still
yeah.
kills.
But totally off guard. Side question: is it true that you have to pay to use a trash can at Disney World?
What?
You got to use your band to unlock the trash can.
No, that is absolutely not true. Who told you that?
I don't know. I heard this somewhere, and I was like 50,
That
and
is
they
not
charge you
true.
50 cents for the trash can for 30
No,
seconds.
no, no.
No?
I've been all around that park. Never once, ever in a million. No, nope. And they even have trash cans that talk to you and follow you around. So no.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. I haven't done the Magic Band. I don't have one. I was in Disney before all of the cool technology that they have.
You got to get one.
Like
You're
the
going, right?
like when you just handed them a ticket, old school.
Yeah, right. But now when you walk around, you use it for so many things.
You're basically
Your daughter will be happy, but you won't.
mm.
You can admit in every
And looping right back around the football. Um, did you hear the NFL is going to be doing facial recognition now in all 32 stadiums or all 32 teams?
I heard they were doing
Can I
clear
opt out? Can I opt out of this?
because now it means you're going to get patted down at Eagles games,
I mean,
just like the airport. So here you go.
I can opt out at the airport.
You're going to be like, come on in, Mister.
I gotta tell you, I was there for you saw I took some of our friends to the soccer match last week in Lincoln Financial Field, and like the way they do security is great. You just walk through, you got the the towers on each side of you, almost looks like a metal detector, but I'm sure it's a little bit more advanced. And you just walk, and unless there's a queue with the ticket checking people, they only flag you if something gets picked up on the scanner. And I'm like, it's so much more efficient.
Interesting.
So much more.
I keep on hearing that Denver airport's getting more efficient, but then I walk in like I went to I don't know what event it was, but I went to Denver and I left, and it was like I walked right through security. I was like, "This is amazing! They fixed it. It's finally back." And then 2 weeks later, I
Yeah.
stood in a line at Clear and TSA PreCheck, and I'm like, "What is going on? It's extra money to do this. What do I have to buy a third thing to get past this stuff?" And Atlanta was even worse.
Yeah.
TSA and Clear take longer to get through than the regular line.
Well, I mean,
It's crazy.
all I know is if you go into Denver and you walk the right direction from the street, they have
Yep.
like this little make a left, and it
Yep.
goes just into a TSA thing that dumps you past their main security right by the escalator. So like you gotta like come at it from the right direction in the middle hallway, and it's on the one side. I don't
It's
know, like
door 625 or something like that. And by the way, now the Uber drivers know. They're like, "Are you checking a bag?" I'm like, "No." So it doesn't matter. Can you just take me to this section? They bring me there, but that's the section that now is backed up. So I don't know if everybody knows about it now or what. I
I'll
just
tell you what,
drives me crazy.
when that's going and it's open, it's awesome. But yes, for all the travel woes, the Denver airport is still on the top of the not no mas list. No good. No good. No more.
What's
But
that?
hey, I was gonna say the Denver TSA. Should you know what I'm sure it would only hurt my situation. Look at I should do a rating system for TSA at all the airports, right? And
Yeah,
then
yeah, that would
my
probably hurt you.
experience, but
That's
yeah.
okay. Atlanta took my lotion away. I should call Darren. Um, I've had the same bag in my suitcase all year. I've done 40 trips. I've done no problem. So that means the lotion's going down. It's the same like moisturizer. Same moisturizer. I'm going through Atlanta. They pull my bag over to the side. I'm like, what the hell is going on? I do this on purpose. I don't wear anything that's gonna. I go right through the metal detector, no problems. My bags come right out. I whistle and walk away. All of a sudden, my suitcase is flagged. Opens up. Anything sharp in here I got to worry about? I'm like, no, unless my underwear got crusty. I don't know. He's just like rolling through, and then he starts digging through. Then he pulls out. Aha! Opens it up and pulls out my moisturizer. He goes, "Do you know what the limit is? Or, you know what it is? Like, yeah, 4 ounces, whatever." He goes, like, "This is 7.5." And I'm like, "Well, I got to tell you, it's not liquid, it's cream." So we'll get a little bit technical there. And I've had that thing with me since it was brand new. And now there's probably only 2 ounces of stuff in it or 3 ounces, whatever is in there now. He goes, "That doesn't matter. What we do is go by the container amount. Doesn't matter how empty or full it is, whatever the container number
Oh,
on
but
it says."
I have a trick for you.
I'm like, what?
I
He
have a
took it
trick.
from me. Said I had to check it. I'm like, I'm not checking a bottle of friggin'
Hold on.
moisturizer.
If you freeze it, it's solid.
Yeah, then what do I do?
Let it melt. Like this is a thing. Take a bottle of water that would normally get flagged through security because it's liquid. Freeze it. Put it in your bag. It's gonna go through. It's a solid.
I don't need water that bad, but
I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I have not tried this myself, but I have seen I have seen this actually in effect. It apparently works.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I guess I won't do that for this, but I went through that same airport the other way more than one time. Actually, I
Well,
went to
what you
Jamaica with that same bag.
what you did was you got somebody that's actually doing the job.
Yeah.
That's
I'm
what it
like,
is, right? You
good
got somebody who's
Lord.
like actually following the job the
But
way it's
once it was Drew, he could have went, yeah, you're right. This, here you go, buddy. Nope, took it. I said, use it in good health.
I usually to that end, I guess, I get that type of stuff all the time, so I hear you.
Well, you get, yeah, I can't, I shouldn't be complaining to you because,
I get that all the time. I get the best part. I almost have to stop carrying business cards with me because the $8 million X-ray machine can't figure out that like that's paper.
yeah.
Like, oh look, it's very it's very thick, and I'm like it's paper.
They
It's
got
it's
me with the autographed cybersecurity books once. And I'm like, it's books. You mean because it says cybersecurity on it? Is that what you're saying? It's like, I don't get it. They're books. Yeah.
Yeah, I've gotten there's too many electronic wires in your bag, too many cables. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, like, should I call up all of these manufacturers and tell them to stop making one power cord for each device?
Yeah.
That's what it is. I can't help it. What do you want me to do?
Right. They'll tell you
Like
to check it. Isn't it going on the same plane? So why are we worried about these things?
I said, hey, you can take them all out. You can test them, plug them
Just
in.
like when they tell you about the weight of your luggage, and I'm like, wait, but it's all going on the same plane. So if I move it from bag A and put it in bag B, it's going on the same plane. I don't get it.
Yeah. Did you see the one where the guy got he was doing the bag checker to make sure that it fit and it got stuck in there?
Oh, gee. Nobody uses that, by the way. That's another thing. I'm on the plane, and this girl comes on, and she's got the bag completely zippered. You know how you zipper it out, and it was like a accordion. It was huge. No one stopped her. She gets on the plane, and she's literally smashing this thing. It won't go in. I'm like, maybe try the bins on this side. They're a little bigger. The guy's helping her smash it. It won't
Uh,
fit. And then I
uh,
go, why don't you try sitting on it and zipping the zipper? She goes, that's not happening. All right, check the bag. I'm like, but now you held up the whole entire plane because you got this bag on there that was clearly too big. And some of these planes have really small overheads too. So you got to be careful of that shit too.
you know what? We need, I know we love creating things. We should, I've been wanting to do this for years. It's going to be the luggage Olympics. We need people to learn how to live out of the rollerboarder. Not, you don't need all this extra stuff. We need to teach you how to pack your bag properly, and you can do 2 weeks out of a rollerboarder. It's been done.
Ooh,
I do it all the time.
yeah, yeah, dude. I gotta say, I live out of my check bag. I mean, out of my carry on all the time.
Sure.
But when I did PAX 8 Beyond and then had to be in the office for the rest of the week, it was no bueno, dude. I needed some
You
change.
can do it. You can do it. It
Yeah,
can,
if I'm gonna wear the same clothes twice,
no,
if
no,
I'm
no,
gonna
no,
come on.
no, no, no. That's called recycling, by the way. It's not wrong. There's nothing wrong with that. To a point. You can pack your bag properly to get it all in. I promise.
Yeah, I'm definitely not good at, and God forbid I need more than one pair of shoes. Now I'm not wearing 10 like
No, no,
some
no,
people,
no.
but
One pair. One pair. There's no need for two.
oh, remember, I do nightlife, I
Okay.
do
All right.
day.
All right.
Come
Here we
on,
go. Here you go. You can bring flip flops.
flip flops.
That's it. And they're flat enough that you can do it. That's it. One pair of shoes. There's no reason for boots unless that's what you're going to wear the whole trip. There's no reason for multiple pairs of shoes. Enough. Enough with the
Yeah.
multiple pairs of shoes.
Sometimes I might need sneakers, and sometimes I might need shoes.
No. You find something in the middle. You see the suits. Looks like you're wearing a dress shoe, but it's a sneaker. What's the problem?
Yeah, yeah.
Just
Still,
saying.
and then if you had to wear a suit, packing that into a carry-on isn't
Then
exactly
you have to switch
funny.
the style of bag that you're bringing.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, this
And
is
then
easy.
put everything in that style of bag. Really?
Yes, because that style of bag turns into a duffel bag,
Mm-hmm.
and then you can put the stuff in the duffel bag, and then there's your bag.
Sure. Sure.
I don't. I have it. I'm telling you, it's a thing. You got to have the right tools for the job. It's like in technology, right? You're not going to have some guy or girl who's in technology go to an on-site to go do IT work and not have tools with them. Got to have the right tools.
The right tools.
Can't open up the computer to replace the hard drive. What's the point?
And then weather. Weather can be a game changer.
Well, go to Europe. In one country, it's 50 degrees. In another country, it's 90 degrees. Like you go, yeah,
That
sucks.
sounds
But
like that sounds like Massachusetts. What are you talking about?
Massachusetts, what are you going from one town to next door, and it's that different in temperature? Come on.
I'm talking about the same place. I've been here when in the morning it's like 90, and then at night it's like 50. It's changed. It changes like insane. Believe me.
Just have a
But
jacket. Have a jacket. We have them. Soft jackets, soft shell jackets that don't take a lot of space. That's it. Ken, do I need to go through a training tutorial with you? I mean, come on.
I'll
Okay.
tell you, it's it's always interesting. This traveling, and it's crazy.
Well,
What are you up? What are you doing next? Where are you going to be next?
that's a good question. Let's see. Where am I going to be next? Well,
Holy shit.
we
I'm going to San Antonio. It's going to be 102 degrees when I land.
well, that's a mistake. Don't go there.
It's going to be 102 all week.
Oh yeah. We're going to San Diego to see your buddy Lizette.
Oh, you are?
Oh yeah. And then after that, it's the gauntlet.
Wait a minute. San Diego for Owner Summit?
Yeah.
That's at the end of the year, I thought.
No, September.
Oh, it's in September.
And then after that, it's the gauntlet.
Oh, I think we're going there, by the way.
It's the gauntlet. You know what the gauntlet is? The
Oh,
five
yeah.
the five block parties I just listed.
Right. Well, I'll be at two of them.
Well, that's good. I'm sure DadoCon in
Yeah.
Miami, IT
Yeah.
Nation Orlando. I could have told you that like this because that's the two big ones that everybody are at.
Yeah. We
No
need a
Berlin, no Sydney.
band. No, how do I do Berlin and Sydney in between all the other stuff I got to do?
Teleport.
Busy end of year.
Beat me
Busy.
up, Scotty.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, that's where I'm going to be. And then, I'm still trying to see if I can sneak to Brazil for that Eagles Packers game.
I knew you were gonna.
I listen. I have no flights. I'm not walking there. So I got to book something soon or I ain't go.
Yeah.
Question is, will I get in and out of there without a problem? That's a different story. Something tells me security down there is just the same as security up here when it comes to me.
They like you.
Oh,
Like
as our other friend has said, vaguely ethnic.
vaguely ethnic. That's right.
That's right. Where are you going to be? So we said DataCon, we said IT Nation. Where else? You're going to go to Exchange, I guess is what's in San Antonio,
Yeah,
right?
I'm going to Exchange in San Antonio. I got your pack event and
Yeah, September. That's right. I forgot
MSP
about Denver.
Community Minds, and then I have I'm going to be in Denver for a really long time. I have PAC, MSP Community Minds, and then I have Kieran's Masterminds right after that. All boom, boom, boom in the same week, really. His goes Friday, Saturday. Yours goes Wednesday, Thursday, and Monday, Tuesday. So yeah, it's like the whole week of that. I am doing Big and in Fort Lauderdale. Going back to visit the team and the members with Todyl, so that should be interesting.
No boats.
Yeah, no boats, no more boats. And then this little, sprinkles in between. I got to go to Denver because that's where the Todyl office is. So somewhere in between all that, I'll be going back out to Denver for just in-person stuff with the team. But yeah, it's been, it's good. Get back out on the road, do some cool things, and meet the community where they live.
Should I get you a little miniature bus for you to just
A little miniature bus.
like a little something that you can carry with you to remember the bus? Should I give you?
Is it going to be a school bus, or it has to be? Can't be a school bus. It has to be the legit,
It'll be the tour bus.
the tour bus. The first one where we were basically sitting in the back of a U-Haul, or the better one when
Do
we had
you
the hammer. When we had
would
the
you
hammer driving.
rather would you rather a U-Haul truck?
No, I'm not even talking about the actual U-Haul. I'm talking about that first tour bus we drove in that felt like a U-Haul because our driver was separated by a wall and drove off without us, drove off, all kinds of different stories that we had in that thing.
Hey, it got us where we needed to go. It wasn't
Oh
exactly.
yeah,
It was a little
multiple
bumpy at times.
stories, but got us where we needed to go.
Got us where we needed to go. It was a little bumpy at times, but it got the job done.
Bumpy. There was the one where the engine was under the back seat, so that was really hot back there. There was the one where we were doing calls from the restroom, the bathroom that was in there. Man, we had a lot of them. Then we had the one that was really cool when it was parked, but when it was driving, all had to be squished in with the bed and the couch because it was one of those pop outs. Remember that one? The
Yep.
one where the tree went through the windshield.
We had a lot of glass problems.
Oh, actually, the tree went through the windshield and he ran over the sign at Bellagio or MGM or whatever it
That
was.
picture is priceless. I don't know
Yeah,
if they've replaced that sign.
they have not replaced it. The last time I was in Vegas, I checked. It was not replaced. So they just said,
They took the insurance money from it.
oh, they got the money.
They definitely got paid.
They got a new poker table, but they didn't put the sign in.
Sure. That was like that picture. I was just like, oh my God, how did that happen?
Right.
Guys,
How do you not see that? I'm just saying.
hey, it was a trip to remember for
By
sure.
the way, that guy was bragging to us that that was the only he had never been in an accident till that time, and then he had he had the windshield, and then he drove over the sign.
His accident record went up pretty high after that trip for sure.
It absolutely did.
Yeah, not good. Not good at all. Um, well, it will be as it has always been, minus COVID and a bus tour or two or three, a busy time, right? September, October, November is always just rapid fire. It's where you get all your air miles to get your status for the next year.
Right.
It's where we get our, we see our security backups, right? I mean, bottom line is it will be busy, but there will be good stories to come from it. And we still got to book some entertainment, man. We still gotta announce this band. So let's see who shakes out of this. But I'll even tell you that everything's more expensive than it was a year ago.
Of course.
Everything, even that's more expensive.
Of
Yeah,
course.
yeah. It just, I don't know. Maybe we can pay everything in Australian dollars. That would be better.
That would be
Or Canadian dollars. That would be good.
some rupees or some whatever. Whatever
Actually,
works.
the Indian currency is at its all-time low against the dollar. I was like, wow. Okay, sounds good. Although the stock market, if you've looked at your retirement account this week, may not be in good shape.
Nobody should be looking at their retirement account right now unless they're close, because that's a blip in the system. Day traders, they should be nervous.
A blip? A bit more than a blip. I mean,
Yeah, but I mean, it's happened
how
before.
about a cliff?
Good
Yeah.
time to invest, right?
Well, that or you're going to end up having to work a little bit extra because you can't retire when you thought you were going to.
a
Sorry, guys.
lot of things could change that, but we won't go down that road.
Yeah, I got you. I mean, you could always invest in CrowdStrike.
Oh, actually, might not be a bad time to invest because they're more than certain to go right back up.
More than certain.
Yeah, come on. I don't think it was. Honestly, I get it, but I think a lot of people. I still think a lot of people are swinging. Sure, I think the smaller, the ones that are more apt to do that stuff, are going to jump ship and run around and shop. But I think a lot of people are like, okay, it happened. It's out of the way. Probably wouldn't happen again.
Out of the way. Huh?
Yeah, man, I'm telling you. I'm just telling you. In talking to people, I've heard that. Not joking. You think everybody's jumping ship? I don't know. I've gotten a mix of, and that was one of the answers I got. That problem won't happen again. They'll fix it, and everything else we love. Just saying. People do some weird stuff, dude. Again, and again, like the comparison too. how many smaller MSPs are using CrowdStrike, right?
I mean, I don't know. If you follow our other friends, they've been pushing it like it's going out of style, like it's In-N-Out Burger over there.
Our other friends.
I mean,
There's a lot of really good options. Obviously, Todyl's one of them. Other
yeah,
side, other side. I can't get that right.
yeah.
There it is. But I mean, again, I'm not out there pitching against it. I'm not an ambulance chaser. I think that's a horrible time to be going out there, but there are other options. And if you're going to weigh your options, make sure you're weighing them properly. You're checking out everything that you possibly can as far as how sound the company
You
is, how
go to
sound
your
the tech is.
you go to the software company and ask if what does your software development cycle look like? Did you ask that?
Hey, that might not be a bad thing to ask.
Is that the thing to ask for now, right?
I
Like,
know,
hey,
right?
how often do you update the this in your like?
Right. But we
Okay,
always talk about that on the MSP side, right? How often are you updating your, your terms and conditions and all the things that go along with your managed service agreements and all that stuff?
well,
Why shouldn't the big guys do that?
let's even boil it back down to something simple. Maybe patching right away is not the answer.
Maybe testing right away is.
Oh yeah, you think these MSPs have been testing Microsoft Patch Tuesday for all these years?
Oh, not them. I'm talking about it's on the people pushing the patches.
Uh-huh.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? A patch should be tested. I mean, do you think the only thing about this I don't know is if how quickly would have been caught if they tested it? Would they have been able to not push this thing out, or would have been something that caused them to hit the brakes? What things was this patch supposed to fix? You know, someone said, well, they roll 2 out a week or 2 out a day, like really a lot of patches or something. So I don't know. It gets complicated when you start talking about that.
2 updates a day. That's a lot of updates.
That's a lot of freaking updates. What's wrong? What's going on? I don't know. It's all interesting, but you're right. You got to start going down to testing and process and
Could you imagine Microsoft Patch every day?
no. Although sometimes it feels like it. I feel like my laptop now does it more than ever, where it says, "Hey, you have this update. Let it run." I'm like, "No, I'm doing something."
It's because you keep on saying no.
Well,
That's
you say
you.
yes. You say yes every time while you're working. You just stop what you're doing.
No, like if it's the
I
end of
got,
the day, I'll go and do it.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But if I got 10 screens open, and which is when it usually is ready to rock, I have to say no.
Okay.
No, I
And so
can't stop what
finally
I'm
it's
doing.
like you're 60 days in, you haven't ever run.
Right.
They're like 3 updates behind. It's like it's time.
No, no, I don't do that one.
Okay.
I'm not that crazy.
Okay. All
I
right.
remember what it's like to have an update F me up when I don't install it. Everything stops working. I think they do that on purpose now.
Don't you remember the clip from the Netflix show Space Force? Yeah, they
Space
can't
Force.
like it's because Windows is updating, they can't access the satellite. Too funny, man. It's been
we
too
would
long.
we would lose the grid.
It's been too long, man. It really has. We'll have to
Yep.
get some cheesesteaks.
That's right. I'm in. I'm in.
Well, if you said you weren't in, I would be worried.
That's right. As long as I don't have to stop down the other side of Philly where that 12 steps below place is, I'll be fine.
Well, unless you want to go to Brazil. I mean, we're gonna open up the
Oh,
season.
really? So we walk that 12 steps down and end up in Brazil? Is that what it is? Because I
Why
thought it was
not?
more like hell, but it
Why
was a
not? You
little
want to go to
scary.
Brazil? I mean, what
It
do you
was a little
got?
scary.
Too funny. All right, Ken. Where can people find more information about the new place and how to connect with you and all that good stuff?
Yeah, I mean, so Total, obviously, you can go to total.com and that's your typical. If you want to find me, you can find me on LinkedIn and Facebook. I'm all over the place. If you can't find me, you should probably need some help with search capabilities. I'm just about everywhere. You can email me at kpatterson, that's KPATTERSON at todyl.com. But always looking to help. And again, it doesn't have to have anything to do with Total. I was an MSP for many, many years and made a lot of mistakes. So if you just need help and you want to, run down some things, I'm always open to help out anybody in this space. Just love what we do and love this community.
Super. Thank you very much, guys. And this session was recorded. You'll find it at mspinitiative.com under sessions, podcatcher, YouTube page, all that good stuff. MSP Community Minds, the 5 block parties, they're all there. mspinitiative.com. We'll see you if you want to be seen. If you want to stay at home, no problem too. But you can keep watching these, listen to these, but some good times coming up ahead. Like to see in
See us
person
live. Come see us live. It's fun.
here or two. Why not? What do you got to lose? Take it easy, guys. See ya, man.
Bye.